It's estimated that up to 500,000 people in the UK are on the autistic spectrum. All people with autism share difficulties in communication, but their condition will affect them in very different ways. Some can live relatively normal lives, whilst others may need a lifetime of specialist support.
Scott, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Have you got all your DVDs together?
Yes.
46-year-old Scott Mould has spent the weekend in North London with his mum and dad.
Yes.
Are they?
Yes, I'll show you upstairs. I packed them.
Right, can you bring it down then?
Yes, I'll just go show
Scott has learning disabilities as well as autism, and he's getting ready to return to his supported housing.
I'm not being cross with you or anything, all right, but what happened with the water in the night in the bathroom?
Had an accident, didn't she? It was all right.
I was washing my face well to make myself, because I felt like it.
He's very loving and very caring. He wants to be like a normal person. He wants to do the normal things. He doesn't know how to react to people in the correct way and has to be reminded. He often wants to be friendly with other people but doesn't really know how to.
Sorry, is that right?
It's all right, Scott.
I just want to know what happened.
It tends to drip from your hands a lot, doesn't it? Because you put a lot of water on your hands.
Sorry, is that right?
It's all right, Scott. These things happen, don't they?
You're not going to make it hard for me, are you?
No. See you later. All right?
Dad's not driving, is he?
No, I'm driving.
I am not extremely naughty, I'm not very naughty, I'm not naughty, I'm not always extremely naughty.
Scott has all these rituals that he has to go through, and these seem to comfort him and settle him down. Off you go.
I was excited about when I saw Peter and David when you...
Because you were Thunderbirds. We'll see you later, about
Mind how you
2:30
go.
to 3. Bye.
Some people go through life encountering problems with colleagues without understanding why. Mari Harder is a professor of sustainable waste management at Brighton University. Mari was only diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome 2 years ago.
I've got Asperger's. It means basically I have verbal communication problems and I misread people and they misread me a lot. I don't see these rules of conversation. I can't learn them. It's very difficult for me to understand all the unspoken things that people mean in an interaction. I think, obviously, the trick is not to commit yourself. If I interrupt people in a conversation or I've got an idea and I'm trying to get it across and I'm focusing on it, they may see me as intensive and pushy and argumentative, and I'm not. I might be actually... I would be horrified, probably, sometimes, to think I've upset somebody.
Yeah. OK.
These can happen at any time. OK. All right, then.
Since Mari's diagnosis, the university is providing her with support. They've arranged for her to talk with a National Autistic Society mentor whenever she encounters a problem.
And then I had a meeting coming up, and I couldn't believe over the weekend I was getting quite anxious about his new office. I just can't imagine. There's no logic in it at all.
No, I know where you're coming from.
Really? You've seen it before?
Yeah, but from a different end of the spectrum. You know, yours is an attenuated version.
Weekdays, Scott lives in his flat with 24-hour care provided by trained staff such as Sarah.
When people got things in their mind, tell me what, they're very busy, sometimes they're stressful, aren't they?
Yeah, sometimes money worries.
But Mum and Dad are always in and out.
Scott!
Hello?
All right.
Guess what?
What have I got to guess? Shall we go into your lounge?
If you're trying to put...
He's got what we call a verbal minefield. That's everyday words that people normally would say to other people that wouldn't have any effect on them. But with Scott, you have to be tread very carefully.
Autism is winding me up.
What is it? Has it just started?
Yes. We're friends, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. What happened, Scott?
Autism's winding me up. We're friends, aren't we, Daddy?
How does it happen, Scott? Can
Just
you
comes on.
in your eye?
No, it just comes on in my mind.
Oh, so something happens in...
Someone has said or done something that's sort of set him off. And other times when he seems to get these sort of voices in his mind or something that sort of usually reminds him of some traumatic experience in the past when he's been rejected by someone.
I can cry, can't I?
Yes, you can.
Does your autism make you feel sad?
Yeah. I cry because it's all right to feel sad if you've got feelings, isn't it? But they're not brought at a point of me not to cry, no, not nowadays. It's all rubbish, isn't it? Off, did you?
Yeah.
When Scott gets upset, he tends to self-harm.
His shouts.
Sometimes swear.
He'll hit
sometimes
himself.
hit himself, yeah.
He's been known to give himself a black eye. He's going through hell. Because what's going on in his head is like explosions. And you just want someone to sort of, as I see it, to comfort you, and that's what I try to do.
You could tell by looking at me.
I can tell by your eyes sparkle.
Mari wanted her colleagues to understand the difficulty she continually encountered in the workplace.
I put these examples with visual illustrations into a book to be able to give somebody who didn't know anything about Asperger's an overview of what it was.
And these guys are having a conversation, and these are rules he has to make up and work out for himself. Listen first, wait for a pause, keep to the topic.
This is just one of the strategies Mari has worked out to manage conversations with colleagues. Today, her team are planning a conference on sustainable development.
Something that's holding back everything else is a conference announcement. And inviting those conference speakers.
I don't think in words, and I don't work in words. So just having a person that I have to respond to, I have to get out a toolkit and open up this toolkit and get out the bit which says I'm going to listen to you, acknowledge that you're speaking words. I now have to translate them and respond to you.
We might be talking about different things. So let me just jump in and say, I think the conference preparations are a bottleneck.
While I'm speaking, I have to also constantly worry about how the other person is taking it. So, for example, have I been saying too much? Do I need to put the brakes on? Do I need to move sideways? Do I need to pause? Are they in the middle of trying to tell me something? And then if they are, I have to stop, put all that aside, and then try to understand their context.
From them when they're free.
So we just have to make sure that the venues are available at all in those windows of time.
Are they actually talking about the same subject or me? Have we already missed each other? So there's a lot going on. I get to the point where I don't want to be around people. It's a matter of finding a place where you can recuperate. You might play a musical instrument, and that allows you to concentrate. Almost anything where you are left alone to concentrate without having to interact is effectively a rest.
What you could do is you could say, would you like a cup of tea, Dad? Couldn't you? And make him a cup of tea.
There must be a kettle over there somewhere, Scott.
Now Scott is settled, but he's had some bad experiences with professionals in the past, including at a residential care home in Wales. One evening, his dad tried to speak to him on the phone.
And the member of staff who answered it said, "Oh, I'm glad you phoned, Mr. Mole, because Scott is standing in the corner of the room, bashing his head against the wall and pulling his hair out. Can you tell us what we should do about it?" And this is 250 miles away. And I said, "Stop him, of course." And he said, "Oh, how do we do that?"
I had explained, actually, to a member of staff before that if he had an outburst, what to do.
We're the experts. We know our son. We've lived with him for 40-odd years. We've seen him develop.
By watching Scott's body language, if you're not observant and you haven't got the empathy of how he's feeling, then it will make more difficulties for Scott and cause him distress, and it will also, in the end, cause the professionals problems.
BP tablets, that which please make sure still so paper. When you take your BP tablets, that which please make sure.
Treat that person as you'd like to be treated yourself.
Get going now, Scott.
Right. Please, I'll see you off first.
And I think that sometimes is lacking a lot of the time, and people think that people with autism are just being difficult or they can change, and they can't.
I don't see it as a disability, that's for sure. It's a way of being hardwired differently, and most of my problems are due to the rest of society not being able to understand what that means and the implications. So it's a disability to the extent which society makes it a disability for me.